This is the last part of the TRANSKALAHARI report from Bernard, Petra, Connie, and Victor. Today, on this November 30, our bush campers are leaving Vic Falls in southeastward direction. First plan of today is to make a brief visit at the Gorges Lodge, directly located at the deep Zambezi River cutting. We are now flying over the Zambezi River, about 12 kilometers downstream airline distance from the Victoria Falls. As you can see, the water level has been quite low as the rainy season, which usually starts in November-December, has not yet begun. Let's take a short break and freeze the image for a moment. This little white cloud you see at the horizon is the mist from the Victoria Falls. Isn't this incredible? The flats have been built right on the edge of this steep rock walls. Unfortunately, the lodge was temporarily closed for renovation at the time of the visit. However, the manager showed us around a bit. And now bush campers, show us your Crocs. Wow! How stylish! Yes! This is something I would call a room with a view. For today our bush campers had already different plans where to stay. But maybe for next time? Who knows? There was still quite a distance to drive for today, but the evening promised to be a reunion with friends which Petra and Bernard met some years ago. So let's go! Not being in a national park full of wildlife anymore meant that there were often people and cattle along the road. Or even a boat sitting on an abandoned trailer in the middle of the road. May I present our friends Meryl and Bill, together with Petra and Bernard, and little doggy Tamo in front. Tamo and Connie became friends immediately, and Victor made a first contact with a number of ants and Foxy, the other dog. The overwhelming hospitality from Meryl and Bill included a full-featured dinner, and an evening full of stories about Africa and how it used to be. Here is some practical information from Bill: how to prepare and eat the mealie meal, made out of maize meal, water and salt.
You take it like that?
Yeah.
See how nice and clean my hand is now? It doesn't stick to you.
Nope.
So you...
Where's the next wall? Just kidding.
So you can throw it against the door there, it'll be a good test. And you see how the texture changes once you start kneading it?
Yep.
Okay, so
It
now...
comes like a nice little dumpling. Yep.
Yeah, so now
Yep.
you make something like that.
Yep.
The trumpeter hornbill was curious if it can get a bit from this delicious-looking mush. Or what about a piece of this ripe mango fruits? Only doggy Tamo was not interested in all of this. But our bush campers became interested in harvesting some of these mangoes. Since the mango tree was full of fruits, they were allowed to pick as many mangoes as they wanted. Thanks Merrill, thanks Bill. So let's hope for a bountiful harvest.
Mango harvesting.
Yes.
Connie, all the best. Foxy, good boy. Well spotted, the fallen mango. Petra, now it's your turn.
Yeah.
Dog.
And now Victor.
Hey. Woo! Mango picker of the day. Ah, tiki tik.
Once again, a big thank you to Merrill and Bill for this wonderful evening and their generous hospitality. Good night, and sleep well. For the next 6 days, our bush campers will be staying in the Hwange National Park. With its 14,600 square kilometers in area, it is the largest natural reserve in Zimbabwe. Today's plan is to arrive at the Cinematella campsite. The next 2 days, they will staying at the main campsite in the northeastern part. Then another overnight stay again at Cinematella, followed by 2 nights at Robin's Camp. So quite a schedule, isn't it? Please look forward to exciting adventures, interesting background information, and hopefully great film recordings. Of course, Africa cannot always be the nice-looking and picturesque wilderness. Large coal deposits are found in the Hwange district and several large coal mines are located there. Yes, that's it. That's the kind of Africa which pleases your eyes and your mind in the same way. The Cinematella campsite is located near the northern boundary of the park on a rocky outcrop, 55 meters high, overlooking a distant riverbed and grassy plain. The Landcruisers are parked and set up for the night. This is now an excellent moment for a delicious and refreshing glass of wine, while the sun slowly sets on the horizon. A new day has dawned, it's high time to be out in the bush again. When driving on these unpaved tracks, you sometimes come across bridges that look like this. Or something like this, which is as well okay. Or it's not even worth being called a bridge. But whatever it may be, you manage to cross it. But if the bridge is only a memory of its long-lost golden era, then you definitely need a good plan B at hand. But sometimes, even a brilliant plan B won't work. And so, as plan C, only the shovel remains. So, let's give it a try. Bernard, your turn. Rock and roll. Just do it. Yes, cool. Well done. Victor did not just copy Bernard's riverbed crossing. Of course not. He was riding his Land Cruiser over the dry riverbed in a warthog style. All right, Victor. It might not have looked quite elegant, but it was certainly effective. We are here at the Mandavu Dam picnic site. Such areas are protected by walls and fences, where you can safely leave your car to take a walk or to observe animals. Would you like to understand this selfie-stick camera thing? It is a 360-degree camera mounted on a stick. When shooting, it is automatically blanking out the stick from the footage. Victor is using it a lot for capturing images and videos in a full spherical view, allowing to cut and edit clips for this movie in all directions, including up and down. Landcruisers are parked. Bernard? Petra? Anything interesting out there? Yes. Here is a yellow-billed stork, which is called Nimmersatt in German. Wherever there is water, there are quite often hippos too. Hippos are known to yawn, for a variety of reasons. For example, when they feel hot, yawning can help them to cool down, so it is another mechanism for temperature regulation. The flowers of the carrion plant are well known, for the smell of rotting flesh. How disgusting, although it looks gorgeous. The Masuma Dam camping site is located on a high point, offering a spectacular view of the wildlife and plain. There is a large thatched hide, great for watching wildlife as they roam around, or hang, on their way to the nearby waterhole. Interesting information on hippos. Although they spend a lot of time in water, but they cannot swim in the way that other aquatic animals do. Instead, they push off from the ground and use their powerful legs to move forward. In deeper water, they might not be able to effectively propel themselves and would therefore sink. But as you can see, hippos are also incredibly fast on land. Engaging with a hippo can be risky for a crocodile due to the hippo's powerful jaws, sharp teeth, and aggressive behavior. This is the no idea how to pronounce this viewing platform. The viewpoint impressed with an exceptionally stylish and clean restroom facility. Other than this, there were just monkeys, and more monkeys, some wildebeest, a lazy crocodile, 2 roan antelopes, and a few yellow-billed kites that were letting their plumage dry in the sun. Well, the number of animal watchings wasn't exactly stunning, wasn't it? Time to head back to the main camp. One nice thing about the main camp was this: a good possibility to refuel their land cruisers. And compared to this filling station at Cinematella, it looked clean, shiny, and working. And the campsite was fenced, so there was no danger from wild animals. Theoretically. It was so hot that even simple stirring of a risotto, without cooling one's lower extremities, would not have been possible. And Connie too was looking for ways to escape the unbearable heat of the ending day.
Meine Damen und Herren, auf diesem Kanister steht BW, steht für Brauchwasser. Das heißt, damit die Zuseher nicht glauben und innen, dass wir da mit Wasser vergeuden irgendwie. Dann ist nur ganz wichtig, aus dem Hintergrund eine Regieanweisung. Ich muss mir den Schlüssel nach hinten hauen, weil ich nämlich sonst die Fernbedienung ansau. Brauchwasser, die Kombi.
Our friends stayed for 2 nights at the main camp, doing some game drives in the surrounding area and leaving again for the Cinematella campsite on December 4th. What a job, bowling others' excremental droppings. Or should we just call it rolling shit? Oops. Dean Martin, to the mic please.
Volare.
Yes sir.
Oh, cantare. Oh, let's fly way up to the clouds.
And now ladies and gentlemen, get ready for some stunning elephant impressions.
The glow of a star that I know of, where lovers enjoy peace of mind. Let us leave the confusion and all.
Well, those 2 fellows were really eager to get some fresh water.
Just like birds of a feather, a rainbow together we'll find. Volare.
And so was the rest of the breeding herd. Right at the waterhole, there was a completely dried up cadaver of an elephant, consisting only of skin and bones. A passing-by bull smelled and touched his deceased fellow, as if he was even mourning for his comrade. A very touching scene, and evidence that these large mammals might indeed have feelings and intelligence, way beyond what we give them credit for. The zebras, however, had just one thing on their minds: roughhousing, bickering, and constantly tussling. Which means in German, raufen, stenken, und sich balgen.
Volare. Oh, e cantare. Oh.
At one of the next water holes, an even larger breeding herd was about to fetch some water. And especially the baby elephants were simply adorable and so cute to watch, in all their childish clumsiness. Mud acts as a natural sunscreen, protecting elephants from the harsh sun. As the mud dries, it cools their bodies through the process of evaporation. Elephants don't have sweat glands like humans, so mud helps them to regulate their body temperature.
Nel blu dipinto del blu, venite di stare lassù. Nel blu dipinto del blu.
It's time for a driver change, so time for Connie to be behind the steering wheel again, and time for Victor to shoot some footage for this film. Hey, just a moment please. I clearly saw a pistol there. Here is the explanation that Victor has given me. When you're out in the wilderness, you should first of all try to look intimidating and martial. Having a club or a similar object at hand would also be recommendable. Even a rubber snake can help to keep intrusive monkeys away from your table. But a water pistol is the ultimate weapon against annoying birds trying to snatch your food from the table. So it's always good to have a well-filled water pistol at hand. Well, another mind-blowing topic is now explained. But now I'm already curious, which animals we are going to see today. No, come on. Another monkey session? Although this little one looks cute. Wow, that was beautiful. But the day was slowly coming to an end, so it was high time to head back to the Cinematella campsite. Welcome back to the gorgeous Cinematella campsite. Time for a good sundowner and for another beautiful sunset, overlooking the fascinating expanse of the Kalahari. Good morning. The plan for today is simple. Have breakfast, pack things together, and then drive to Robin's camp. And whatever surprises the day may hold, we will for sure report on them in this film. And although we are here in the wilderness, it doesn't mean that our friends don't care about personal hygiene. No, quite the opposite is true. This campsite had fairly decent sanitary facilities, which are usually called ablutions in such national parks. The building, the washing facilities, the toilet, the shower, and the urinal. Okay, all done? What are we waiting for? Let's go! Arrived at Robin's camp. Back to a bit of touristic infrastructure. And Petra, as well as all of us, is happy. Some words about Mr. Herbert George Robbins, after whom this camp is named. He acquired a little more than 100 square kilometers of farmland in this area in the early 1900s. He put a stop to shooting animals and took active steps to ban poaching on his land. With his last will, he handed over his farm to the Southern Rhodesian government on condition that his land, which today forms a part of the Hwange National Park, will remain a game sanctuary forever. Mr. Robbins, who dedicated his entire life to the conservation of African wildlife, passed away in 1939 on his farm at the age of 72. Now, we would like to show our honored viewers how to start a Land Cruiser in a very cool, and according to some insiders, in the only correct way. Because you don't do it sitting inside the car, but easygoing and wicked from the outside. But even such a reliable vehicle like a Land Cruiser can, of course, experience technical problems once in a while. And that's exactly what happened to Victor's Land Cruiser. A rather unpleasant noise, originating from the right front wheel. Holy shit, that really doesn't sound good.
Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone.
After an initial inspection, they couldn't find any visible damage. However, Victor noticed that the noise was no longer present in reverse gear. What was to be done? Yes, of course. Drive the entire distance of about 5 kilometers back to the campsite in reverse gear. Back at Robin's camp, which was separated by fences from wildlife, our friends had a better opportunity to examine the front wheel more closely. Unfortunately, they again did not see any visible damage. Bernard had the idea to ask if there is a mechanic on site from the camp. After all, the campsite also had some vehicles that might needed maintenance every now and then. After nightfall, Bernard and Victor drove to his workshop, which turned out to be just a metal container outside the camp. This guy and his two companions disassembled the wheel, inspected and cleaned the entire wheel hub, but also found no mechanical damage. But he saw that most probably during disengaging the four-wheel drive something got stuck inside the hub. He recommended, when turning off the four-wheel drive, to double-clutch in second gear. Zwischengas beim Runterschalten vom four-wheel drive geben. So Connie and Victor's Land Cruiser was again ready to rumble. The old fire watch tower was in a quite poor condition already. The view from above would have certainly been spectacular, but fortunately, there are other ways to take a bird's eye view. There are many different ways to safely land a drone. But landing it on your own hat might not be the best option. Whoops! Fortunately, nothing happened to the small drone. And this is just fake footage. It shows how it should have looked in the end. Although it was quite wet, due to extensive rain some days ago, the landscape appeared not only in lush green, but sometimes also dry and parched. And there were a number of rivers and areas with water nearby Robin's camp. For example, Little Tom's Hide. What a nice pool, full of water lilies. Another place nearby was called Croc Pools. Despite all efforts, not a single crocodile showed up. It seemed that today just wasn't a good day for animal watching. Only this succulent was impressive. After all, it couldn't run away. Folks, enough of this now. Time to move on this December 7th, 2022.
Well, we know where we're going, but we don't know where we've been.
As already known, here is the schedule for the day. We will leave the Hwange National Park departing from Robin's camp in northwest direction. Then, we will re-enter into Botswana at the Pandamatenga border crossing. Next, our bush campers will move down south, right at the border Botswana-Zimbabwe borderline, on an off-road track called Hunter's Road. At this cut-line road, they will head west to the A33, and then going down south to the Elephant Sand Bush Lodge campsite. All clear? Good. Let's go. We're not really on the road to nowhere, but the drive hasn't been particularly exciting so far. But wait, hold on a moment. Is there really a snake on the road? Yes, it's a puff adder, or Puffater in German. They are highly venomous, and their bites can be life-threatening if not treated promptly. Puff adders are usually sluggish and slow-moving snakes, which makes them so dangerous. Unlike other snakes, they do not flee as soon as they sense vibrations, but remain in cover, making them difficult to spot. When threatened, they may hiss loudly and strike if provoked. Their bites are lightning fast, making them responsible for causing the most snakebite fatalities in Africa. After several again uneventful kilometers, finally, the border crossing into Botswana. Customs clearance. Vehicle inspection. Refueling. Hunter's Road refers to a strip of land all along the Zimbabwe border of Botswana. The off-road track along the border passes through many hunting concessions and reserves. The road condition may vary from season to season, becoming quite bad especially after heavy rains. Then, such mud holes appear. First rule on off-road tracks, better not to take any risks. Rather opt for a small detour. And because we were just talking about risks, listen to this important announcement from Victor regarding elephant trails.
If you happen to drive on a dusty, rugged road like this, and there happens to be an elephant trail crossing, then it's better not to stop right on the elephant trail, because the elephant might get a little upset if he wants to go for a loo or even a shit, and you're just standing in its way. So therefore, strong recommendation, do not park on an elephant trail. Message understood?
Thank you so much, Victor. What a useful advice for all of us, wrapped up in such colorful and down-to-earth words of wisdom. But even being back on what you call a normal road does not mean that you cannot encounter elephants. Another thing you will see on the road are the so-called veterinary control fences. They are physical barriers used to manage and control the movement of wildlife and livestock. Such vet fences are primarily used to prevent the spread of diseases among wildlife and domestic livestock, like foot and mouth disease. When crossing a vet fence, you may encounter as well a liquid disinfection or footbath for vehicles, humans, and livestock. Therefore, it is not allowed to carry your own raw meat like steaks, because it may as well transmit diseases. And where there is more traffic on the road, the probability of traffic accidents also increases. Fortunately, in this accident here, there were only material damages and no injuries. But now, we want to welcome our viewers to the outstanding Elephant Sands Bush Lodge. The place where elephants rule. The Elephant Sands Bush Lodge is situated near the village of Nata, in northeastern Botswana. Its main attraction is a natural waterhole that is often frequented by a variety of wildlife, especially elephants. Guests can observe these magnificent animals up close, as they come to drink and bathe in the waterhole. The lodge offers a range of accommodation options, including campsites, which has been of course the choice for our 4 friends. But it got really exciting after nightfall. While our friends enjoyed dinner from the restaurant, the elephants remained active at the waterhole well into the night. And all of this to be observed in close proximity. Today's plan is to pass the village of Nata and to carry on to Kubu Island. It is a unique and iconic geological formation located in the Makgadikgadi salt pans in Botswana. These salt pans are some of the largest salt pans in the world. They are the remains of an ancient superlake that existed in what is now the Kalahari Desert from 2 million to 10,000 years ago. The salt in the pans is primarily composed of sodium chloride. It can be several meters deep in some areas and forms a thick crust on the surface. Access to the salt pans by car can be challenging or even completely impossible, especially during the wet season when the pans may be flooded. Kubu Island, where we will be going today, is a rocky outcrop made up of large granite rocks and boulders. It stands in strong contrast to the flat and expansive salt pans that surround it. And now, enjoy some beautiful impressions of this ancient and breathtaking landscape. But before that, again some important remarks from Bernard.
Schönen guten Nachmittag. Heute ist Donnerstag, der 8. Dezember 2022. Es ist 14 Uhr. Wir sind auf dem Weg nach Kubu Island, von Norden her kommend, von Nata. Nachdem wir dort nochmal getankt haben, es ist bereits 75 Kilometer hinter uns. Und ein bisschen was einkaufen kommt, weil da haben sie einen Chobe Supermarkt zu wissen. In einem.
Right at the horizon, the endless expanse of one of the larger salt pans was already visible. But it was high time to drive on. Our friends were still far away from their destination. While the donkeys were grazing peacefully, a number of threatening thunderclouds were gathering from the east in the blue sky. Let's hope that this severe weather does not hit our bush campers. It seemed that our 4 friends had once again been lucky. The storm passed to the north of Kubu Island. The scenery seemed almost surreal and creepy, including the fading rainbow on the horizon. In the end, even the sun made an appearance again. With its bright light against the backdrop of dark clouds, Kubu Island revealed itself in a dramatic fashion. But now it was high time to find a good place for the overnight camp. Ideally, right in the middle of Kubu Island. And indeed, what a wonderful spot they have found. A fire was lit, and Victor tried to squeeze the last bit of white wine out from the Tetra Pak bag. With a glass of wine in their hands, our 4 friends gathered around the fire, bearing witness as the heavens on the distant horizon yielded to the embrace of the night.
It's morning.
Yes, and what a lovely morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
What a lively way to start the day. Thank you. Petra, Connie, what are you looking at? Okay, I see. It's this impressive baobab tree.
When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright. Now
Victor was completely enchanted by this tree. He wanted to capture every detail on film. So he was flying his drone closer and closer. Was it a gust of wind, or a handling error, or both? We will never know. In any case, the little drone, tired of flying around, decided to settle down in the branches of this old and honorable baobab tree.
To stay up late, good morning. Good morning.
The drone rescue operation was immediately started. With a long pole from an abandoned camping station and some wire, Bernard and Victor aimed to quickly retrieve the little runaway from the tree.
Good morning.
rainbows are shining.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Good morning.
Guten Morgen.
Good morning.
This might have looked quite easy now, but after rescuing the little drone, Victor couldn't hold back his emotions anymore. All's well that ends well. But now, let's hit the road again. The destination for this December 9th, 2022 is the Khama Rhino Sanctuary near Sibuyu. Due to the previous rain, it wasn't entirely clear how drivable the salt pans would be. Fortunately, there were dry stretches along the way which were easy and safe. Eventually, the salt pans transitioned into grassland, and then further into scrubland, although with a number of water crossings. However, the majority of the drive to the Khama Rhino Sanctuary could be safely done on tarmac. Our friends arrived at the Rhino Sanctuary in the afternoon. At the campsite, a beautiful and majestic Makgadikgadi tree provided shade and shelter. And a go-away bird seemed to protest against the presence of our 4 bush campers. Despite the peaceful and relaxed atmosphere at this campsite, we're not here for the trees and the noisy birds. Guess for which animal the Rhino Sanctuary is famous? It is of course the rhinoceros, or rhino in short. Contrary to all other rumors, the consumption of rhino horn does not enhance a man's libido. The horn is made almost entirely of keratin, a substance from which our fingernails and hair are as well made of. In fact, and as everybody can easily verify through self-experimentation, chewing and swallowing hair and fingernails do not result in any enhancement of male potency. So, there is absolutely no reason to kill these wonderful animals for their horns. Yes, it's correct what you see here. Male rhinos have the unique ability to urinate backward through their penis. This allows them to deposit their urine scent marks in a way to be easily detected and assessed by other rhinos. If you have a few extra pounds on your hips, getting up can sometimes be a bit challenging. But enough about rhinos for now. There were plenty of other wildlife species to admire and to observe. And then there was also a fenced and so-called bird hide, for observing birds and small amphibians. Like this little turtle boy, in his clumsy and unsuccessful attempt to approach his fancy lady turtle from behind. The other guy also decided to go down, just out of pure solidarity. And in addition, an immense number of various butterflies close to the water. Connie again behind the steering wheel, going back to the campsite. As you can see, she knows well how to handle a Land Cruiser. What a day! But now it's time for a small campfire. And time to put some sausages on the grill to satisfy our friends' appetite. So let's end this day with well-grilled Frankfurter Würstchen. Bon appetit and good night. I bet the guys also had a nice and cold beer. Of course, I knew it. The adventure of our 4 bush campers is slowly but surely coming to an end. Today, on December 11th, 2022, we're leaving Botswana, entering again into South Africa. The Marakele National Park, including one overnight stay, is the next destination. The following day, we'll continue to Pilanesberg, to the national park where the journey began almost 5 weeks ago. The last day before departure will be spent near Johannesburg, right before the return flight to Vienna on December 14th. Something we fortunately no longer see at the borders in Europe. An endless truck queue waiting for customs clearance. The onward journey in South Africa, on paved roads. So we definitely have left the wild and adventurous part of Africa behind us. Inside the national park, there was of course again wilderness, although showers and electricity at the campsite felt like a piece of luxury entirely out of place. That was quite a day in fast forward. Tomorrow, we'll take it slower again, okay? Alright, what's on today? Well, that's how the mountains in the Marakele National Park should look like. And that's how things look like in reality. Despite the lousy weather, Connie and Victor wanted to venture the steep and narrow road up to the Lenong viewing point. All right. So this is the Lenong viewing point. Rainy, cold and foggy. The perfect place for a nice and hot cup of rooibos tea.
Not even the elephants or the lions go out today.
But we do.
Yes.
Because we're the crazy ones.
The only exciting events on the way back to the campsite were a blooming protea kaffir tree, 3 grazing zebras, and a beautiful crested barbet bird. Petra and Bernard had more luck on their game drive. There was a buffalo on the street, rhinos in the bush, a rhino on the street. The arrival in Pilanesberg, also in the rain. But with one highlight. A night game drive, something which is not allowed to do in all of the national parks with your own car. And there it was. The surprise. A pride of lions with a freshly killed wildebeest. Pictures, which are fascinating, but evoke fear and disgust at the same time. The game drive became even more interesting with the onset of darkness, as many wildlife species are only active at dawn or during the night. Folks, we have reached the end of our film. How amazing that you've all stuck around for so long to watch it. By the way, I'm Ryan from ttsfree.com. Thank you for your interest in TRANSKALAHARI, the film. And maybe we'll meet again at one of the next adventures of Petra, Bernard, Connie, and Victor. All the best, stay healthy and happy, and beware the warthog.